Hello everyone. I want to give you some shots of the Living North cabin, and you'll be able to see why I like coming up here and spending so much time. So this is a view coming into the cabin. Here on the left, kind of have my wood lot when I have my firewood delivered. This is where I cut it and haul it, split it, so forth. Over on the right here we have a pile that was cut this spring actually. So curing, getting ready for winter. Just kind of pan around on the property here a little bit. A lot of this is low, deep gullies, so I don't have a lot of flat land to do a huge amount of things, but it's still pretty nice just the way it is. Some of you have probably seen the video on the delivery of this shed here, which was done a little earlier this summer. But that's what it looks like in place and all set up, and the ramp built and all ready to go. And like usual, we'll start filling it up, I'm sure. Here's the first shed that I built many years ago here on the property. And of course, you know, at the time you think it's big enough, but I filled it up way past capacity, and every time you needed something you had to move this, that, and the other thing, which was the reason I picked up the big shed, so I can get some of the bigger items in there. And also when I come up to do work or to go hunting, then I can put the four-wheeler and that in the big shed out of the weather. This is kind of looking another direction on the property, and down the hill here just a little bit you'll see an old vintage outhouse. Probably, I'm thinking either in the 50s or 60s. It would need a little bit of work to be usable, although I think I could still get it up and functioning without too much trouble, and may in fact do that as a secondary resource here on the property. Here's my woodshed, and there's a old sign here. That was actually on my dad's property, and after my dad passed away, I brought it up here just kind of as a reminder for my dad later in life. One of his passions, well, it was always his passion, was to enjoy hunting, and so I put that sign up in homage of him. Now maybe I'm getting to be the old hunter, so maybe it's more representative of myself now and my stage in life. But again, this is the woodshed I built, and just pan around here so you can kind of get an idea. It's all full and ready to go for this fall and maybe this winter. I do get up here occasionally in the winter. This woodshed here was called a piece on piece, which was an old Voyageur style. And when I built my cabin, I just used the tops of the logs that I had for the cabin, and built this woodshed out of those. So didn't cost me a whole lot, and I think fits in nice with the look of the place. You see a lot of deer antlers on here. Most of these were my dad's. Again, when we kind of cleaned up his property, he had a couple boxes full of deer antlers from his hunting days. So again, I attached those to the cabin, or rather to the woodshed, just as kind of a reminder. Behind it you'll see the new outhouse, which again was probably in mid 1990s that I put that up. What's kind of cool about this outhouse is it has electricity running to it, so you can have lights. And the other thing that's cool about it is in the fall when we come up for hunting and deer hunting and so forth, I have an outlet in the cabin or in the outhouse that we plug in one of the milk house heaters, and has a switch on the back porch that you can turn on the electricity to the outhouse. So early in the mornings you get up, throw the switch, wait a few minutes, and go out to the outhouse and have some warm air blowing on you while you take care of business. So it makes the whole experience of the outhouse just a little bit more tolerable, I guess, for cold or winter months. So here's kind of a side view of the original log cabin, which I built in 1979, moved in February of 1980. You'll see a skylight up there, which does really help to let light into the property. I've replaced some of the original windows, just doing some upgrading over the years here. So here's the front deck and main door. Some of you might have seen on Joe and Zach Survival YouTube channel when we installed this new door onto the cabin last fall. So if you haven't, maybe you can go onto his channel and take a look. But you see the really high-pitched gable ends on here, and there's a reason for that, which you'll see once I get inside the cabin and show you some of those videos. Now you'll see on the left here is the addition, which I added on in the mid-1980s when I needed more space for kids and wife, and just to expand the whole cabin and make it a little more enjoyable to be able to spread out. Soon we'll be putting on a new roof system here, a metal roof, and that chimney stack there will come out because that's no longer used. Here's the tree that sits just in front of the cabin by the front door area. This is a white pine that's, I'm just going to estimate it's over 100 years old for sure. It's been hit a few times by lightning, as one might expect, but so far it's still pretty intact. I don't know what'll ever happen if and when this tree has to come down. I probably won't be here when that happens, but you never know. Alright, let's walk in the cabin here and I'll give you a tour of the inside of this building. This is the original cabin that I built in 1979 and moved in 1980. Again, I've upgraded the windows here. Hopefully you're able to see this. It's a little bit dark in here, but I think it'll show up all right. Here's the loft, sleeping loft here, with the skylight over the loft that you saw on the outside of the cabin. I have electric baseboard heat in here. At one time, like I mentioned, I had a wood stove in here. So the wood stove sat where this chair is here. There's the chimney that's no longer in use. Got a ceiling fan to drive down some of the heat in the fall and the winter. Got a tan deer hide up on the gable end there. Got a small closet here in the corner. Another chair here for sitting. This is the view out the side window looking out towards the woodshed and the outhouse. I don't know if you can see this, but the view out the back window here, which looks down the hill and out onto the lake. So here's the ladder down now, just sits there. And so at night when you go up in the loft to sleep, that's where your ladder is and out of the way. The couch that's over here can fold out into another bed if you need more space, but that hasn't happened very often here. So let's go up the ladder and take a look at the loft. So here's the loft area. Got a magazine rack, a little log end table, lamp, a window facing out towards the lake. And then my bed, which just sits on the floor, mattress on the floor. Because it's kind of a small area, if you raise this, it wouldn't really give you a whole lot of space. So that seems to work out just fine. Then this is the addition that was put on in the mid-1980s, as I mentioned, when I needed more room. Some of you might have seen the Living North video where I put the rock facing behind the wood stove. That's what you see over there. Of course, a propane stove. I have a microwave, a sink here. There's no running water here at the cabin, so I bring my own water. That's what the jugs are that you see here. There's a view out this window. Here's another sleeping area with a set of bunk beds that I made. Got some prints on the wall and the smoke alarm, of course. Some more storage. Have the refrigerator and a pantry cabinet over in that corner. And then kind of your dining area here. Let's go out onto the porch area and I'll show you that. What I have here is a bench, which is a storage system to put different things. But I also have a foam pad that if you ever needed to, you could sleep on that bench as well, like in the summer when it's warm or whatever. Obviously, it's not a very wide system, so you'd have to be a little bit cautious, but it could work. Then here's looking out the porch windows out towards the lake. The side door, which goes out onto that back little deck where the little shower rack is and the fire ring. I have a little table, radio, rocking chair for drinking a coffee and doing a little reading. Looking out over the lake when it's nice and sunny, calm, whatever. Here up on the top we have a bunch of deer antlers and a print. These three sets of antlers right here in the middle are actually quite special, and I will go from the right here. The one with the little piece of cardboard hanging on it was actually the first buck that, or first deer actually, that I ever shot when I started hunting. I think I was 13 years old. The one in the middle was Stephen's first buck that he shot, and then the one on the left right there next to the print is actually the last deer that my dad shot before he passed away. So it's kind of our own little shrine in a sense of father, son, grandson. And then I just put some of the others that we've harvested up here at the cabin. And here's a wood box which has some stuff on it right now, but the wood box is out here for the stove in the cabin. So we keep that full, and when you need something, you just come out here, grab it, so you're not running outside every time you need to put a load in. Let's take a look at this little room here. This is the sauna. So here's the sauna stove, obviously. Got a couple cedar benches, one on this side. One on this side. And then the window that gives you light, gives you something to look out of when you want. It's kind of hard to see, but the lake is out there. There's a balsam and a cedar here, kind of blocking the view, but the window makes for quite a nice addition in the sauna. It doesn't seem to detract too much from the heat. It maintains heat in here quite well because it's not a huge space. I think this room is 6 by 8, so it only takes a handful of logs to get it up to heat, so you can sit in here and enjoy yourself. This is another way to really clean yourself well when you're out hunting or just up here for a few days. Since I don't have running water, the sauna does it, and then you hang the little solar bag out there, and 2 or 3 people can clean off after sauna with a gallon or a gallon and a half of water. It always amazes me how we can get by on so little here, and then when you go home you stand under the shower and 15-20 minutes whatever, and that, whereas up here you can just do it all in a short period of time. Here's a view of the back side of the cabin. So looking up again, you'll see the steep gable roof. That top window is a window in the loft area. The side porch that you see here and the small little deck again was part of the addition to this property, and gives a nice spot to relax and take a look out over the lake. You'll see a little hanger here. That's where we hang the solar shower bag when we go to clean up after sauna, or if you want to just heat hot water and take a little shower. So that's where that hangs. There's a little platform on the ground. I have a fire ring here, which I actually just installed this weekend. I had an original one which worked okay, but I kind of upgraded. Like I said, I'm just doing little things here and there to make the place a little more enjoyable. So here's the porch with the storm windows on it that you can open and get some more fresh air moving through. The window on the right is actually the sauna window, which you'll see a little bit here in the video. And then if I just kind of pan down the property here a little, again, this cabin sits up on a high gravel moraine, probably put through by the glaciers in who knows how many thousands or hundreds of thousands of years. But you can see the property drops down a hill. Now I'll pan up a little bit. And this is the view from the cabin and the porch, looking out over the lake. Well, that concludes the tour of the Living North cabin. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I certainly have enjoyed all the work going into it, building it, and then more importantly to be up here with family and friends and experience the North Woods and all that it has to offer. So thank you for watching. Watch the channel Living North, comment, subscribe, pass it on to your friends. We appreciate you spending time with us, and watch for more videos to come.